A long, long time ago, about 4,500 years ago, in a hot and dry land called Egypt, something amazing happened. Giant stone buildings were built in the desert. These buildings are called the pyramids. They are one of the most famous wonders of the world. Many people visit them every year. But the biggest mystery is this: no one knows exactly how the pyramids were built. Scientists argue about it even today. The most famous pyramids are in a place called Giza. There are 3 big pyramids there. The biggest one is called the Great Pyramid of Khufu, sometimes called Cheops. It is huge, almost 150 meters tall. That is about as tall as a 50-story building. Each stone block in the pyramid weighs between 2 and 15 tons. Some blocks are even heavier. And there are about 2.3 million stone blocks in the Great Pyramid. How did ancient people move such heavy stones? How did they lift them high into the air without modern machines? This is the big question. Scientists have many ideas, but there is no final answer. Some scientists believe that thousands of workers pulled the stones on big wooden sledges. Maybe they poured water on the sand to make it easier to pull. Others think they built long ramps, like giant roads, next to the pyramid. They pushed or pulled the stones up the ramps. But there are problems with these ideas. If ramps were used, they would have to be almost as big as the pyramid itself. No remains of such ramps have ever been found. There are other ideas too. Some say the stones were lifted with giant levers. Others believe spiral ramps were built around the pyramid. Some even say water power was used inside the pyramid, but there is no real proof for this. One thing is sure: the people who built the pyramids were very clever. They planned carefully. They worked very hard. Some workers were farmers who came to help during the flood season, when they could not work on their farms. These workers were not slaves. They were proud of their work. But not everyone agrees. Some scientists believe slaves built the pyramids. Ancient Greek historian Herodotus said that 100,000 slaves built the Great Pyramid. Today, most experts think this is not true. Instead, the workers lived in nearby villages, ate good food, and were treated well. Still, the question remains: who really designed the pyramids? Was it just the pharaohs and their architects? Or was there some lost knowledge we don't understand? Some strange theories have appeared. A few people say that aliens, creatures from outer space, helped build the pyramids. They point to the size and perfection of the pyramids. They say it was too difficult for simple humans to do. Of course, there is no real evidence for aliens. Most scientists do not believe this idea. But it is a fun thought. Other people think that ancient Egyptians had secret technologies. Maybe they knew how to make stones float with sound. Maybe they used forgotten tools. Maybe they had powers that we cannot imagine today. These ideas are exciting, but again, no real proof has been found. Here are some interesting facts about the pyramids. The pyramids are almost perfectly aligned with the 4 points of the compass: north, south, east, and west. The Great Pyramid was the tallest building in the world for 3,800 years. The stones are cut so perfectly that a thin knife cannot fit between them. The pyramids have small shafts inside, pointing to stars. Some people think this was to help the king's soul travel to the afterlife. The Great Pyramid's base is almost a perfect square. Each side is only about 20 centimeters different in length, an amazing achievement. The pyramids are like a riddle. They are beautiful and mysterious. They tell us that ancient people were much smarter and more skilled than we sometimes think. When we look at the pyramids today, we see old stones. Some parts are broken. The white covering stones are gone. But long ago, the pyramids were bright and shiny. They were covered with smooth white limestone. In the sunlight, they looked like giant, shining mountains. Travelers could see them from many kilometers away. They must have been a magical sight. The pyramids were built as tombs for the pharaohs, the kings of ancient Egypt. The Egyptians believed in life after death. They thought that the king would live forever in the next world. The pyramid was a way to protect the king's body and his treasures. Inside the pyramids, there are small rooms and tunnels. In the Great Pyramid, there is the king's chamber and the queen's chamber. There are also mysterious empty spaces that scientists are only discovering now, using special scanning tools. What are these spaces for? No one knows for sure. Even today, it is hard to understand how perfect the pyramids are. For example, the Great Pyramid is aligned almost exactly with the North Pole, only a tiny error of about 1/15 of a degree. The base is not just flat, it is almost perfectly level, with a difference of only 2 centimeters across the whole structure. The corners of the base form almost perfect right angles, 90 degrees. How did ancient people achieve such perfection without lasers, computers, or modern tools? Some scientists believe that the Egyptians used simple tools like plumb lines, ropes with a weight, and sighting tools made of wood. They think the builders used the stars to guide their work, especially the star called Thuban, which was the North Star at that time. Other scientists have different ideas. Some suggest that the pyramids were built by giant machines made of wood and ropes. They think these machines helped lift the heavy stones. Some believe that the builders used water channels to float the stones closer to the building site. But again, these are only theories. No one knows for sure. There are even stranger theories. Some people think that the pyramids are much older than 4,500 years. They believe the pyramids were built by a lost civilization that disappeared long ago, before ancient Egypt even existed. They say the erosion marks on the Sphinx, the giant statue next to the pyramids, look like water damage, not wind damage. If true, it would mean the Sphinx is over 10,000 years old, from a time when Egypt was wet and green, not desert. But most experts do not accept this idea. And then there are the wild theories. Some believe the pyramids were energy machines. They say the pyramid shape collects energy from the earth or the universe. Others think the pyramids are messages left by aliens. A few say that ancient humans used mind powers, like telekinesis, to move the stones without touching them. These ideas sound fantastic, like stories from science fiction. But they show how powerful and mysterious the pyramids are. They make people dream. They make people wonder. One thing is sure, building the pyramids was not just about moving stones. It was about organization. Imagine. Thousands of workers needed food, water, and housing. Stones had to be brought from far away, across rivers and desert sands. Every stone had to be placed in exactly the right position. It was like building a giant machine, without modern technology. It needed planning, leadership, and incredible teamwork. Scientists have found that the workers' villages near the pyramids were well organized. There were bakeries, breweries, hospitals, and sleeping quarters. Bones found in the village show that workers were treated for injuries, and lived after serious accidents. They were not treated like slaves. They were respected workers. The pyramids were not built in a few years. The Great Pyramid took about 20 years to complete. That means placing about one stone block every 2 minutes, every day, without stopping, for 20 years. It is almost unbelievable. But the pyramids are there, proof that it really happened. Still, many questions remain. Why were the pyramids built with such care and precision? Why did the ancient Egyptians work so hard for the afterlife? Why did they build monuments that would last forever? The pyramids whisper to us across time. They say, look how great we were. Look what we could do. And we still listen. The more we learn about the pyramids, the more mysteries we find. Scientists have discovered something strange inside the Great Pyramid. There are tiny shafts, small tunnels, going from the inside rooms to the outside. Some of these shafts are so narrow that a person cannot crawl through them. So why are they there? One shaft points exactly at the star Sirius. Another points at the star Orion's belt. These stars were important to the ancient Egyptians. Maybe the shafts helped the pharaoh's soul travel to the stars after death. Or maybe they had another purpose we do not understand. Even stranger, the Great Pyramid's measurements show secret numbers. If you measure the height and the base of the pyramid, and you do some math, you find the number pi, 3.14159. The same number we use in modern math today. You also find numbers related to the Earth. The pyramid's height compared to its base is the same as the Earth's radius compared to its circumference. How could ancient people know such things? Some scientists say it was just a lucky accident. Others think the Egyptians knew much more than we imagine. Because of these strange facts, many unusual theories have grown. Let's look at some of the most interesting ones. 1. The alien theory. Some people believe that the pyramids were built with the help of aliens. They say, the stones are too heavy. The alignment is too perfect. The math is too advanced. They believe that aliens visited Earth long ago and taught humans how to build. Some even think aliens used their own tools or spaceships to move the stones. Of course, there is no real proof of aliens. But the theory is popular in books and TV shows. It shows how mysterious the pyramids seem, even to us today. 2. The lost technology theory. Another idea is that the ancient Egyptians had special technology that is now lost. Some people think they had machines to cut and move stones. Maybe they used a kind of sound technology. Maybe they used magnets. Maybe they used unknown science. Again, there is no hard evidence. But the theory asks a good question: could there have been ancient machines that disappeared over time? 3. The Atlantis theory. Some people believe that the pyramids were built by survivors of Atlantis, the lost city mentioned by the Greek philosopher Plato. They think Atlantis was destroyed by a great disaster, and the survivors came to Egypt. With them, they brought knowledge of building and science. According to this theory, the pyramids are much older than we think, not 4,500 years, but maybe 10,000 years or more. Most scientists do not believe this idea, but it is a popular story in books and movies. 4. The energy machine theory. A few researchers believe the pyramids were not tombs at all. They think the pyramids were giant energy machines. They say, the pyramid shape collects and focuses energy. Special materials inside the pyramids, like granite, help this energy move. The pyramids might have created free energy for the ancient world. Again, no proof exists. But some experiments show that pyramid shapes can concentrate electromagnetic energy. This theory is still very strange and not accepted by mainstream science. 5. The sound levitation theory. One more fantastic idea is that ancient people used sound to lift the stones. Some monks in Tibet today use drums and horns to move small stones. Maybe ancient Egyptians used giant sound instruments to lift huge stones by vibration. This idea is fascinating but very hard to believe. There is no evidence that such technology existed in Egypt. Today, scientists continue to explore the pyramids using new tools. They use drones to take photos from above. They use radar to see inside the stone walls. They use special cameras to find empty spaces. In 2017, scientists found a hidden space inside the Great Pyramid. It is as big as an airplane. But they do not know what is inside. Maybe one day we will find out, or maybe it will stay a mystery forever. The pyramids are not just stone. They are a message from the past. They tell us about dreams, about power, about the mystery of life and death. They are ancient, but they still speak to us today. What will we discover next? The more we study the pyramids, the more we find strange and wonderful things. One of the most amazing facts is where the Great Pyramid stands. It is located almost exactly at the center of all land on Earth. If you measured all the continents, north to south and east to west, the Great Pyramid would be at the crossing point. How could people 4,500 years ago know this? Some scientists say it was just good luck. Others believe it was not luck at all. They think the Egyptians had secret knowledge of the Earth. And the surprises don't stop there. Most people think that the Great Pyramid has 4 sides. But that is not completely true. The pyramid actually has 8 sides. Each side has a small inward bend. You can only see this from the sky during the spring and autumn equinoxes when the light hits it just right. Why did they build it this way? No one knows. Some think it was to make the pyramid stronger against earthquakes. Others believe it had a spiritual meaning. Inside the Great Pyramid, there are even more mysteries. Using new technologies like muon scanning, a way to see inside with cosmic rays, scientists have found hidden chambers, big, empty spaces, deep inside the pyramid. These rooms are not connected to any known tunnels. No one has entered them. What could be inside? Ancient treasures? Lost books? More secrets of the universe? For now, we can only guess. There are also strange marks inside the pyramid. Workers left graffiti on some stones, small messages written with red paint. These graffiti give names to work teams, like the Friends of Khufu or the Followers of the White Crown. These marks show that real human workers, not gods or aliens, built the pyramids. They show that people worked in organized groups and were proud of their work. But even with this information, we still have big questions. How did they lift millions of heavy stones? Why did they align the pyramids so perfectly with the stars and compass points? Why did they build shafts that point to certain stars like Sirius and Orion's belt? These puzzles make people think about strange possibilities. Some say the pyramids were not just tombs, but something much more important. For example, some believe the pyramids are part of a giant star map. If you look at the 3 pyramids at Giza from above, they match the 3 stars in Orion's belt. Maybe the pyramids were built to copy the sky on Earth. Maybe the ancient Egyptians believed the gods lived in Orion, and they wanted to make a path to the stars. Other researchers suggest that the pyramids were energy devices. Some experiments show that pyramid shapes can concentrate energy at their center. Could it be possible that the Great Pyramid collected natural energy from the Earth? Could the ancient Egyptians have known about invisible forces that we are only beginning to understand today? And then there are people who believe the pyramids hide messages for the future. They say that the Great Pyramid contains numbers that tell us about the size of the Earth, the distance to the Sun, and the secrets of time. They believe that the pyramid is like a giant book made of stone. Of course, most scientists are very careful. They prefer simple ideas, hard work, smart planning, brilliant ancient engineers. They believe the Egyptians were just very good at building with simple tools. But even scientists agree, there is still much we don't understand. For example, no mummies have ever been found inside the Great Pyramids. If they were tombs, where are the bodies? The stone blocks were cut so perfectly that not even a razor blade fits between them. Some blocks used in the pyramid came from places hundreds of kilometers away. How did they transport them? These facts keep the mystery alive. Every new discovery brings new questions. One thing is certain, the pyramids were built with great care, love, and imagination. They are more than just graves. They are a celebration of life, death, the stars, and the earth itself. And maybe, just maybe, they are also messages to us. Messages from a time when humans looked up at the sky, dreamed great dreams, and built wonders that would last forever. When we walk among the pyramids today, we are walking inside a giant, ancient mystery. We feel the spirit of the builders. We feel the power of human imagination. And we wonder, what other secrets does the desert still hide? The pyramids of Egypt are more than old stones in the sand. They are like a bridge between the past and the future. When we look at the Great Pyramid today, it still amazes us. It survived thousands of years. It survived earthquakes, wars, and time itself. Many kings, queens, and empires have come and gone, but the pyramids are still standing. Why did the ancient Egyptians build them so strong? Why did they work so hard for something they would never see finished in their lifetime? Maybe the answer is simple. Maybe they wanted to send a message. We were here. We mattered. We dreamed big dreams. The more we study the pyramids, the more they teach us about ourselves. They teach us about human strength, patience, hope, and imagination. But the mystery remains. Who built the first pyramids? Some think that before the Great Pyramid, there were even older pyramids that we have not found yet. Maybe there was a long tradition of pyramid building that disappeared with time. Maybe the ancient Egyptians themselves were surprised by the knowledge they inherited from earlier times. Even the oldest pyramid we know, the Step Pyramid of Djoser, shows incredible engineering skills. Step by step, stone by stone, people learned to build bigger, higher, and stronger. It is one of the first giant stone structures in the world. And what about the Sphinx, the great stone statue with the body of a lion and the head of a man? Some experts think the Sphinx is much older than the pyramids. They say its body shows signs of water damage, not just wind and sand. This could mean that the Sphinx was built when Egypt was green and full of rain, thousands of years before the pharaohs. If true, it would change everything we know about history. But again, we don't have enough proof yet. The pyramids also make us wonder about ancient science. How did they move giant stones without modern cranes? How did they measure and build with such perfection? How did they know so much about the stars, the earth, and even math? Maybe they knew simple secrets that we have forgotten. Maybe their methods were clever, using things like water, wood, and human strength in ways we no longer imagine. Or maybe there is still something we have not discovered, a lost piece of history, waiting under the sand. Today, new technologies are helping us. Robots, 3D scans, and cosmic rays are opening doors that were closed for 4,500 years. New hidden chambers have been found. New connections between the pyramids and the stars are being studied. Each new discovery brings more excitement, and more mystery. In the end, it does not matter if aliens built the pyramids, or lost civilizations, or brilliant workers of ancient Egypt. The important thing is what the pyramids mean to us. They remind us that humans can dream of the impossible, and make it real. They show that a simple idea, stacking stones higher and higher, can become one of the greatest wonders of the world. The pyramids are a symbol of hope. They tell us that even in a hard, dry desert, beauty and greatness can rise. They tell us that even after thousands of years, our works, our dreams, and our spirit can live on. One day, maybe far in the future, someone will stand before the pyramids again. Maybe they will ask the same questions. Who built these? How? Why? And maybe they will feel the same wonder we feel today. The pyramids will continue to stand. They will continue to speak without words. And we will continue to listen. Thank you for listening to this story. If you liked it, write about it in the comments and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss new stories.